exemplifies the Alpha spirit to the fullest and is a notable brother amongst brothers. I am proud not only to call him my brother, but also my friend. It is indeed my esteemed pleasure to introduce to some and present to others Dr. Zeno G. Hines. May we greet him in excellence.
Brother, if you're speaking, you're on mute.
I'm so sorry. I was speaking and I was on mute. I want to thank Brother Winters for that wonderful introduction. And I want to thank all the brothers here for giving me the opportunity to be the keynote speaker today. This is a wonderful occasion, and we must not diminish the fact that 115 years is unprecedented. We're the only fraternity in the Divine Nine that can say that as of today. And so today I simply want to speak on the perseverance of distinguished gentlemen. As we, the men of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, embark on 115 years as the fraternity of highly distinguished, educated, and insightful men, we must understand that we did not get here without going through some sort of combination of trial and tribulation. Trial and tribulation have marked many great organizations or many great people who have contributed much to society. Great men have always had to go through trial and tribulation and sacrifice in order to manifest that which was destined to be their destiny. Nelson Mandela, who was a South African anti-apartheid revolutionary who because of his political beliefs, was given life in jail, and he served 27 years in prison on the charge of attempting to overthrow the state. He endured and persevered, and in 1994, he was elected the president of South Africa. Perseverance, my brothers. Mohandas Gandhi was the founder and leading advocate for the idea and practice of nonviolent resistance against authoritarianism in the 20th century. Gandhi led nationwide campaigns for easing poverty as well as expanding women's rights. Yet at 5:17 p.m., January 30th, 1948, Gandhi was with his grandnieces on his way to address a prayer meeting when a Hindu nationalist fired 3 bullets into his chest from a pistol at close range. Perseverance, my brothers. Sacrifice. We all know of our great, most esteemed brother, Brother Martin Luther King Jr., who was an American Baptist minister and activist who became the most visible spokesman and leader in the American civil rights movement from 1955 until his assassination in 1968. 4 years prior to his assassination, King won the Nobel Peace Prize for combating racial equality through nonviolent resistance. What few people know is that our brother Martin Luther King Jr. was arrested almost 30 times for fighting for what he believed in. Perseverance, sacrifice, belief. I was taught this over 25 years ago, and maybe many of you will know this same poem. When things go wrong, and they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when funds are low and debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. We cannot quit, my brothers. If we look at our today, the Omicron variant has been discovered and is placing new anxiety upon the world as we fight for vaccinations for all people against the COVID-19 virus. In August, we were fearful of the effects of the Delta variant. The virus has changed how we look at the world. We remember when things were normal, but now we ask when or if we will ever get back too normal. What is normal? Between racial injustices as well as the threat of COVID, our children have been out of the ideal setting for adequate education, the schoolhouse. The time lost is immeasurable. We pray for our children, yet we have no idea the level of depression, anxiety, and fear that they have about their world. These children depend on their parents. Many of them are brothers on this call for protection. But how do you protect your child from an enemy you can't even see? How do you teach your children how to network and make the right connections to help advance their lives when the safest place they know is being alone in their room? How do we prepare our children for a future that we ourselves cannot even envision? In just this year, 2021, we have seen 26 acts of shootings at schools. The latest shooting in Michigan gives us a glimpse of the horror that our children face every day they enter school. And we're now learning that the parents of the shooters will now be charged with involuntary manslaughter. We don't know how to tell our children what 6 months from now will look like, let alone 6 years from now. Laws are being made across the country to suppress the vote of Black and brown people. The aim of a voteless people is a hopeless people, is voter education. How can we as brothers in the midst of a pandemic educate our communities? And the local elections are just as important, if not more important than presidential elections. We just can't vote every 4 years. For what our ancestors sacrificed just to give us the ability to vote, we owe it to them to vote each and every chance we get. Perseverance. Many of you will know this. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you can never tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. Brothers, we are Black history. Let me say that again. We are Black history. We were the first intercollegiate Greek letter fraternity established for African American men. The first. On December 4th, 1906, at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, 7 men recognized the need for a strong bond of brotherhood amongst African descendants in this country. We call these 7 men our Jews. We hold them high. If you research, you will know that the temperature on that day that was taken at 8 p.m., it was 22 degrees. That's below freezing. It was cold, my brothers, ice cold. Yet on that day, these 7 great men made the decision to persevere and create what we are a part of today, what we celebrate today, the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. The charge, brothers, is that we behave and conduct ourselves as men of distinction that the 7 jewels would want us to be. We need to conduct ourselves in all areas of life that exemplify all the attributes that an alpha man should possess. We have to be financially and physically active with the aims of this fraternity. We need to be the brand. Bearing the brand will draw controversy, distract us. Simply put, my brothers, it will bring people into your space who want nothing else but to see you fail. They want to see you suffer. They want the fraternity to suffer. They want the oldest and the boldest to perish and wither away. We have to fight to persevere. Every time we step outside of our comfortable spaces, we are the brand that is Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. You can take the shirt off, but you can't take the alpha out of the man. People should know that you are a man of distinction, no matter what you have on or where you are. Brothers, we need to be the brand. We need to be about the business and serve the community. For as we know, we are first of all, servants of all, we shall transcend all. I'm compelled to tell my own story. I came from the inner city of Richmond. I was coaxed and tempted to turn down a wrong path that would have ended in my death or my incarceration. I had no real hope for the future because all I saw was shootings, killings, domestic violence, and poverty. Growing up was not going to be fun for me, and I was not looking forward to being an adult. Yet I did have men in my church who wore the black and old gold, who indulged me that another path was possible. I attended Norfolk State University, and it was my goal to seek the brothers of the Epsilon Pi chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I could find them on Wednesday night meeting in the library, and I would make it a point to be there where I would sit far enough away that they couldn't see me, but close enough that I could hear them. They talked about politics, racial injustices, and what they could do as a chapter to attempt to solve these issues on campus. I could listen to them all day because everything they said was everything I was interested in. Every seminar they held, I made sure I attended. I finally had the opportunity to be on the fall 1995 line. Now, in 1995, the intake process was completely different from what it is now. And I'll leave that there and leave it to folks' imagination as to how my intake process went down. But at the same time of being a member or attempting to be a member, I was the drum major of one of the most notable marching bands in the country, the Marching Spartan Legion of Norfolk State University. We were invited to march and play at events all across the country. Some brothers of the fraternity felt that there was no need to bring me in as a member of the fraternity because I was already notable on campus. I was already well known. I was already established. But I must give special thanks on this day to my dean, Mr. John McNeil, my assistant dean of pledging, Mr. Aubrey Ricks, who decided to take a chance on me. Think about that, brothers. Somebody took a chance on you. They believed that I would persevere. And I had to believe in myself that I would cross those burning sands. And on December 9th, 1995 at 6:06 p.m., yes, my anniversary is coming up, 26 years, I was initiated as a member of the Epsilon Pi chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I did not just gain membership in a fraternity, but I was brought into a family like none other. We have stuck together through the pandemic, keeping in contact and making sure that we are doing well. Whatever house that you were brought in, you need to have the same love and dedication for it. As was stated in my introduction, I am an active life member in this fraternity. I love my current grad chapter, Xi Delta Lambda. They are full of great men who give great knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, just like the one who introduced me today, Brother Winters. They have been there to support me and allow me to be a part of the initiatives that the chapter and the fraternity set forth. Being active is being part of the fraternity. To pledge and just have a license plate cover on your car does not make you an active member. We are about being the first, being leaders, innovators. We need to find ways to support, assist, and teach people in our communities. The community can benefit greatly from our input. And those Greek letters that you wear and love so much, if you're not active, you need to get active. If you're active, you need to ask, what more can you do? Brothers, let's be the brand. Let's be men of distinction. Let's be the men of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And as I end, I will leave you with that which you already know. For it matters now how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. We, my brothers, are the master of our faith, and we are the captain of our soul. Thank you. Thank you.